So today is day 11. I did miss filming days 9 and 10. I still did my practice, but I was struggling. Um, the past 2 days have felt very dark mentally and emotionally for me. It was a massive purge, which, you know, I guess in hindsight, I feel like maybe I should have been able to foresee it coming because I was journaling about these deeply painful experiences that I experienced. LOL. Um, that is so redundant. I was journaling about these experiences that truly shaped so much of my trauma and my personality for a long time because I've been constantly searching for safety. And these deep pivotal moments kept coming up. And I was journaling about them and how I felt less attached to those sensations. I didn't feel as much pain when I was reliving some of the experiences. But something I've realized with myself is that sometimes my brain moves faster than my emotions do. And so, yes, I was able to logically release that. And I had made a lot of growth, but there was still a lot of pain that had been dormant for so long coming back up. And it felt like a resurgence. And I suddenly felt trapped in the same energy that I've worked so hard to escape. And it just was so painful, and I couldn't understand what was causing it. My cycle started at one point. I was kind of placing the blame onto that and the hormones, which, yes, do play a role. But now, although the past 2 days have been very dark, I've just been very focused on still maneuvering the best that I could in my life. I recognize that past triggers were coming up quite a bit, and so it's very easy to place blame on the circumstances around you right now for re-triggering these emotions from the past. But I knew in that moment that wasn't the case, and I couldn't logically sit down and deduce what was happening, but I knew that the emotions I was feeling was not matching the stimuli on the outside in my life. And so it wasn't appropriate for me to respond towards those things and those people because it was something inside of me, something from the past. And so I just did my very best to maneuver with kindness and thinking before I spoke, not lashing out any of the emotion I was feeling because I knew it was from the past. I'm struggling to talk about this, and it makes me want to just end this video and give up, but this is going to be difficult. This is such a vulnerable journey, and documenting it in this way is strange and new to me. But I can keep doing it. I can persevere even though it feels uncomfortable and a little tough. And my new mantra is I can do this. I can do it even if it's hard. I can do hard things. And I just repeat that to myself every time my brain tells me to stop or slow down or don't do that. This is too hard. I can't do that. Instead, I'm just going to encourage myself. And if I recognize that, okay, I actually need to stop, I will. But otherwise, that's just fear trying to hold me into my comfort zone. And that's what I'm trying to leave because it's so funny, that regression that I felt for the past 2 days. It was very much me living in a space that I knew for years. It was a darkness I knew how to navigate for years, and it was hard and it was painful. And I wasn't the best version of myself in it, but I had become comfortable in a way. And so now I'm doing all these things and releasing, and I'm entering something new. And something I recognized today before I did my breathwork practice is that I felt a bit of anxiety. I felt a bit of like, oh no, I don't actually need to do that today. Like, I think I'm done. And I know that's because this is new. It's constantly pushing me into a new emotional state, one of calmness, one of safety, and this is new to me. And the thing is that my mind, I guess, wants to go back in certain aspects. It's like, okay, like, yeah, this is new. Yeah, you feel good, but like, we've never actually explored this. It could be unsafe. It could take a turn at any moment. And yeah, you feel good now, but then it could feel terrible later on. And it could be a cycle you can never get out of. Is that slightly illogical? Yeah, of course. But this is brand new, and brand new things in the past haven't always been safe. Quite often they weren't for me. And so my body's trying to like protect me from this newfound peace and safety and nervous system healing. And it's kind of incredible because I could so easily stop. It would be so easy to stop right now. It would be so easy to fall back into old habits, and it would be so easy to just live my life as a shrunken down, silent version of myself. Never allowing anybody to actually get to know me, never allowing anybody to know what some of my struggles have been. Not allowing anybody to see how different I can be. But that's not the point of this. The point is to keep going, even when it's hard, even when it's awkward, even when your voice shakes or your hands are shaking and you feel like you want to throw up, right? It doesn't mean you have to stop. I was trying to look to my journal for help, but I had so many realizations today, and so many of them have left my brain so quickly that I never even got the chance to write it out. And I feel like I'm still searching for the lessons that I learned, but maybe that short realization was only meant to be there for a moment and I'm not meant to dwell on it. And that's why I can't recall it right now. Or maybe it's because I have been in such a strange headspace the past 2 days. But I realized that the past 2 days I was doing a form of yoga that is a bit different for me. It is very much so informed around like your cycle and where you are hormonally. I don't know why that was hard for me to say. And she taught me about this acupressure point. I think she called it like T3 or something. I'm going to link the video in the description. Anything that I'm discussing in these videos will be linked in the description for anybody who wants to check them out. Citing your sources is important, and giving credit to the people who taught you. And so I was using that acupressure point, T3, I believe it was. I want to say T1, but I'm pretty sure it was T3. If I'm wrong, so be it. And it is a point where by massaging it, pressing on it, you release a lot of frustration and anger and these other emotions that she discusses in her video. And it didn't click to me, but the past 2 days I've been in a dark energy of my past. My mental space went back to a place of the past. But what was different is that I was able to recognize that this was not me, that this was different. Did I still feel fear? Yeah, I still was like, oh my God, I've gone back to this place. How did I get here? And how will I ever get out again? But it was just a facade of my mind. It was my own nervous system. I guess I had to relive that to release it in a way, or while it was releasing, I was reliving it. I'm not exactly sure. I wish I had the words for what it was. But then out of nowhere this morning, I just felt so much better. And I did channel a lot of those emotions into art last night. I realized that I was going to keep feeling so sick, and so I might as well do something about it. I might as well express that feeling. And so I painted my face last night, and I did look at some inspo pictures, but I very much went off on my own accord and just kind of took some ideas from it. I started painting a black spiral coming straight from right here, the third eye, and just covering like this entire circle of my forehead because I just had these dark, swirling thoughts that would not let up, would not ease up, and they were just torturing me. And so I wanted to put what I was feeling into a visual, to express it creatively, to transmute it through art. And I'm not even kidding. Once I finished that spiral, it was like someone had taken the remote and hit mute, and those thoughts that had been swirling for 2 days nonstop just kind of faded, disappeared. I painted these colorful rainbow type tears, but very like clown-esque. Because although I felt like crying, I wanted to symbolize the beauty, the rainbow of colors and energies that still flow within me because it represents all the work that I've done up until this point. And there was like a stream of red blood coming from my nose, and it was just like symbolism for like, yeah, I'm bleeding a bit, but I'm still turning all this pain into art. And it ended up being one of my absolute favorite face paints of all, to be honest, that I've done so far. And it made me feel so renewed in like my creative bucket. I just, I can't fully put it into words right now. I 100% am struggling to articulate myself simply because I am still processing so much. And it is very difficult for me to articulate anything while I'm still processing it, even though it is helpful for me to speak about it while processing. It does speed up the process. I think the biggest takeaway that I guess there are a few, so I'll name them as they come to me, but through this journey of regulating your nervous system, healing your PTSD, and coming back to yourself and giving yourself space to learn this new version of you, because every time you heal your nervous system and come back to yourself after whatever traumatic event, you are coming back as a newer version of yourself. And it's okay to give yourself permission to not know exactly who you are, how you respond to certain things, because you've changed and you've grown. And that's something I'm learning because, yeah, I did all this a few years ago, and I had met the best version of me up until that point then. And sure, it's easy to tell myself, well, I should just be able to do this again because I did it before and it was working so great. But the thing is that I've grown, the life around me has grown exponentially. And although those patterns that I had healed and I had learned new were so great at that time, I've now outgrown some of those too. Not all of them. There are some that are still very helpful, but there's a lot that are also Like, okay, I don't need those anymore. My energy can actually go to other places because I'm not fighting the same battles I was back then. And that's beautiful. And it's can be fun. Like, I'm honestly trying to see it as like getting to know a new friend. Like, that time of getting to know somebody can be so exhilarating. And so I get to be exhilarated by meeting the new version of me as well, just like I'm a stranger, and being curious about what this person knows and how they move through life instead of trying to force myself back into the box of who I was when I thought I was the most healed I could ever be. Because now I realize, like, I don't think there is a limit on that. I don't know if you'll ever become the most healed you'll ever be. I guess you could argue like the person you are right before you die is one, but that also very much depends on your beliefs about afterlife. Um, hmm. Yes, be curious about yourself. And if you fall into a moment that can feel endless of reliving past, falling back into past mindsets, feeling like you need to protect yourself at all costs, be gentle with yourself during that time. It's hard. You don't have to interact perfectly with the world during that time, but you also don't have to shame yourself for how you are reacting. And also, when you come out of it, don't give up on your practice, even while you're in it, even though it really didn't feel like it helped me during that time. I know that's not true because after 2 days of that, I just woke up today and I felt brand new. Like, I felt like, it's almost like those 2 days hadn't happened. Don't allow your brain to trick you into believing that this change is harmful. Change is scary. Even like positive change is just as scary as negative change, to be honest. Like, maybe not everybody feels that way, but it gets that way for me. Like, day 11, and I'm like ready to throw in the towel because, oh God, like, heaven forbid I feel great, right? But that's okay. You can acknowledge something. I'm really realizing is trying to ignore those feelings doesn't work for me because then they just get louder. Like, why are you ignoring me? Why are you ignoring me? Like a little kid when you're, excuse me, like a little kid when you're ignoring them. Like, they just get louder and louder and louder until they have your attention. So now I acknowledge it immediately. Like, I see you. You're fearful. You're worried that this is going to do something negative. I hear you. Let's try it anyway and see how we feel. That's it. Let's see how we feel. I feel a lot better. Are things perfect? No. I feel a bit behind again. And that's a reoccurring theme I'm realizing. And so that's something that I've noted. Okay. That's something that can be worked on, but not right now. Not right now. I think I'm learning the art of acknowledging my thoughts and emotions, but not necessarily indulging them all the time, especially the ones that are more negative. Like, it can get very addicting to constantly be trying to heal yourself and better yourself. And you're like chasing the high of the days that you feel great and so clear headed. Um, and I can definitely fall into that trap. But something I'm realizing is I can see things about myself that aren't my favorite. And I can simply acknowledge those and continue on. I can accept those parts of me instead of feeling like they need to change, which then kind of creates this loop of feeling shame when those traits of my own are brought to my attention. And to be honest, something I realized is the more shame you feel around something, the harder it is to change it. And so removing that pattern, that loop of shame around the parts of me that I would like to change and evolve and grow is in fact going to allow me to do those very same things far easier because I simply did the work to undo the shame loop. It was never meant to be there in the first place. Yeah. There, I think I finally got there. It was a bit of a roller coaster. I hope that made sense. If not, I'm talking to myself anyways, so I'm gonna get it. Anyways, I hope you have a beautiful day. And I'm wishing you the best, especially if you are joining me in this journey. We got this. And 11 days in, I am still quite excited to know what it's going to be like at day 40. All right. Bye.